do that. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am very delighted that today we've got my esteemed colleague, Jowita, as our guest speaker, who will be talking about social media, topic that is of interest to all of us, especially for all of us who will be working as freelance interpreters. And nowadays, as we know, one cannot live without social media, and for us interpreters it's important to be present. Our presence needs to be appropriate and it needs to be on the right channels. And I think today Jowita will share with us some insights and will give us some tips. Jowita has worked with me before. We delivered some other webinar together on LinkedIn to interpreters, and she knows what our job is about. So I think this will be helpful. Jowita has got a company, Uniqua brand. She's a director of that company, and she provides marketing consultancy to many different companies. She does specialize in financial and legal sector, but I know she has worked with different companies in the past. And Jowita is of Polish origin as myself, and she's very active in the Polish Business Link that I am part of. And I think that's it for the introduction. I'm going to give you the floor, Jowita, because I'm sure everyone is very excited to hear what you've got to say to us. I am here as your moderator, so if you need me to do anything or organize any groups, just let me know and we will do that, okay? But without any further ado, I give you the floor, Jowita. Thank you.
Thank you for the great introduction, Eva, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you, actually to meet you online, not in flesh, maybe next time in flesh. Or maybe we like it so much online that we will constantly meet through Zoom. Okay, so let's start, because there's quite a few information to go through, and we will have also a few activities. So then it will hopefully help you to start thinking about social media in more strategic way, rather than, okay, social media, it's popular, so let's jump on it, let's jump on every single platform that is available there, and then eventually you will spread yourself too thinly. So just a quick overview what we will be talking about today. So on the agenda we have digital landscape around the world and in the UK in numbers, just to show you the power and the popularity of social media. We'll talk about the reasons for keeping current and be relevant, why we need to be current and be relevant. We'll talk about millennials and Generation Z, so that's you guys and girls, and their influence on what's happening around the world and the company culture, the way we do business, the way we communicate, and everything else. We'll talk about social media as a business tool, holistic business tool rather than just a marketing tool. We'll talk about the, actually I will introduce you to a proven process for social media results. So basically 4 stages in it, what you need to do to be successful. And then what is the strategy for your social media use, what to consider when you think about the strategy. Integration stage, what to consider over there. Meaningful engagement, best way to do it. And social media best practices, just to finish our workshop, our seminar, just to give you like a quick overview of what we've discussed and the main points to remember. Okay, so let's start. So we've been doing this for centuries. Technology and innovation has been influencing the way we do it, from letters to telephones, then faxes, from faxes to emails, and now from emails to social media. It's absolutely clear that social media and technology has been influencing the way we do business. That's the first mobile phone, apparently, and what it looked like. And everybody was saying it's not gonna, it's not gonna take off. No, basically, we'll never use mobile phones. This is ridiculous. And now we are doing such a slick, smart devices. It's not just a mobile phone; it's a smart device. That's apparently the first Apple computer, and now we are using slick laptops like this that you can put in your handbag. We used to go on a date, have a date, a quality date, look at each other's in each other's eyes, have a conversation, have a laugh, and now we go on a date and have a date with our mobile phones. I know I thought it's me in the picture, but actually it's not. But I just realized I'm doing this as well. So, digital landscape around the world. What's happening around the world in terms of numbers? So in 3 years, between 2016 and 2019, the number of internet users has grown by 25% to 4.38 billion. The number of active social media users has grown by 51% to almost 5 billion. The number of active mobile social media users has risen to 3.25 billion. So as you can see, the growth is really huge in 3 years' time. So what is more important, actually, that average daily time spent using internet via any device, so laptops, stationary computers, or mobile devices, is more than 5.5 hours. That's on average, but some people spend more, some people spend slightly less. Average daily time spent using social media via any device, and again, computers, stationary, and also mobile devices, it's over 1.5 hours again. So, what's happening in the digital landscape in the UK? Perhaps this is more of an interest to you as you are based in the UK for now. So in 1 year, between 2017 and 2018, the number of internet users has grown by more than 5% to 63 million, over 63 million. And the number of active social media users has grown also by 5%. So by 2 million to 44 million. So it's huge. And also number of active mobile social media users has grown by 3%. So that means that actually more and more people obviously are accessing internet, accessing social media on the go. So that's why you as interpreters, you need to be prepared for your future work as freelancer to be accessible, available through mobile devices. And also you need to have obviously tools and the apps installed on your mobile devices to make sure that you can be active pretty much between meetings or between your conferences, etc., etc. So that's the evolution. So where do you think you are on this picture in terms of the technological evolution and adaptation of technology? So what do you think? Hello?
I think we are better than the chimpanzee, but we still have a long way to go to become a strong man at the final phase.
Yeah. Anyone else? Come on, share with me. Where are you on this picture?
Hopefully towards the right.
Okay, cool. Not bad, not bad. Cool. Okay, so there is still a lot to be done, obviously, in order to keep adapting to what's happening with the technology, the way we do business, the way we work and communicate. Okay, so we need to reinvent ourselves to stay current and be relevant. just a second. To obviously adapt to new ways of communication on a completely different level. Why we need to stay current and be relevant? Because of Generation Z and millennials. And you are probably within this category of Generation millennials or Generation Z. So who are they? More than half of the entire workforce population around the world is made of actually Generation Z and millennials, and it's 54%. So that's why what's happening around the world, it's actually for the employers to understand that you, Generation Z and millennials, are working in a completely different way, that money is not the biggest motivator for them, and that's why they need to start adapting. And also you, when you start working and within your own businesses or working for someone else, perhaps, you will need to understand how your target audience is communicating, how your target audience wants to do business, etc., in what sort of ways. So who are millennials and Generation Z? Obviously, they are famous documentarians, absolutely sharing everything, from what they eat to when they go to sleep. They live by the motto, picture it or it doesn't exist. Perhaps it resonates with you all. Actually, with me as well, although I'm not a Generation Z or millennial, slightly older. And millennials still remember the sweet sound of dial-up modem, where actually Generation Z had an iPad for nanny. Millennials and Generation Z unites the obviously technology and the love for technology. They have a huge impact on trends, not necessarily just the fashion trends, but also the other trends. And also they are obviously technology savvy and very impatient people. They want things to be done pretty much quickly. And they want obviously career progression within like fast track, wants to achieve everything pretty much within days, not weeks or months or even years. So those are the traits. Obviously, sometimes people are different, but in general, that's what Generation Z and millennials are. Millennials are educated, ambitious, entrepreneurial, and they also are environmentally conscious. Where Generation Z are completely digital natives. It's in their DNA to use technology. Without it, they basically, half of them would die. So there is no time to sit and wait for us to adopt this new technology, to start doing business through social media or communicate through social media, because it's not the strongest that will survive, nor the most intelligent, but those that adapt to changes. So let's have a look at social media as a business tool. I will talk about the holistic approach. Perhaps not necessarily every single piece of it will apply to your business, but I would like you to have an understanding of how social media can be used in a business. So social media, it's not just about marketing as many businesses and many people think. It's much more than this. It's also about sales, so basically helping you to develop new clients, bringing new clients on board. It's also about company culture, and for example, for you, if you will be looking for a job, that can help you as well with looking and searching for a job in a very proactive way rather than reactive. And it's also about customer care, which is more and more important these days. So how it can help you within each of those areas of business. Within marketing, it can help you with brand awareness, so your own, increasing your own brand, personal brand as an interpreter. It can help you with lead generation via website or through calls. You don't necessarily have to have a website, but if you have a very good profile or profiles on social media, people can contact you through it as well. And also it can help you with PR. So if you have something newsworthy to say, or something perhaps controversial or something useful, you can also start developing connections and relationship with journalists within specific media publication, and then through it will be coming some opportunities for press releases within those specific media publications. So how it can help you with sales? Well, probably that's the most important for us, smaller businesses and individuals like yourselves or me. Well, it can help you to obviously prospect clients. So basically see where your clients hang out, who they are, who is behind the company, etc., etc. And it can help you also with social selling. There is no more space for direct sales or pushy approach. Although I can see still many of it on LinkedIn, people are getting desperate because of the GDPR that came to force last year in 2019, in I think April, the beginning of May. And also now these days, probably because of coronavirus, people will be becoming more desperate and start really the direct and pushy approach to sell you things through LinkedIn or and other social media platforms. It's not about this anymore. It's about social selling. So developing relationship with people who you want to do business with, support each other online, on LinkedIn, for example, Instagram, or any other platforms that would be relevant for you as interpreter, and then eventually contact these people and arrange a meeting, whether it's through Zoom, a telephone conversation, Skype, or whatever, to see whether there are opportunities to do business. And within company culture and HR, it is relevant to you in one way, that perhaps if you are looking for a job, you can do it in a very proactive way. So it can help to increase employees' engagement within a bigger company. It can also increase productivity. I'm sure now, as we've mentioned, meeting through Zoom, we didn't have to travel, so we didn't waste time for traveling to your university, spending money on tickets for the tube, buses, etc., etc. So we can really focus on staying at home, for example, and doing specific things on social media to increase our productivity. It can help retain clients retain talent within a business, but also recruiting new talent, and for you, more specifically, help you to look for a job in a very proactive way. And within customer care, once you have your first few customers, first few clients, it is important to look after them and build loyalty online, so then they will be your clients in a way forever, or for a much longer time. So in here, it's again about social selling. So it is about building relationship, building trust, building loyalty. So they will give you repeat business, and also it will help you to increase a number of referrals from those clients. So that's how you can use social media. And quite important is research. Remember this, that social media give you a lot of information about every single person who is out there and having their profiles. Specifically Facebook. People put their lives out on Facebook, or perhaps even on Instagram as well. So it can help you with, obviously, information, data about people you are interested in doing business with, or perhaps for your own, more social reasons as well. And also it can help you with innovation. And in what way it can help you with innovation? It's, for example, if you start listening of what's happening on social media, it can give you ideas of how to perhaps come up with a new piece of service to your clients, and how to perhaps deliver specific interpreting services, etc., etc. So now we are coming into a few minutes where I would like you to spend some time and work in groups, and I would like you to not come up, but because of all the slides that I showed you before, this marketing, sales, looking for a job, customer care, research, I would like you to think about what is your reason for using social media, and also answering a question. Next question would be why you think this is the reason, the most important reason for you to use social media. So first question is, what is your reason for using social media? And second, I want to challenge you, and I want to ask you why you think the reason you came up with is the most important for you.
Jowita, how big the groups you want? I will create break rooms now.
We have probably, how many people we have? Just a second. We have 15 participants, so probably 4 people in a group.
Okay, so 5 rooms. Let's do maybe 14. Yeah, 3-4 participants per room. Okay, and how much time should we give everyone?
Probably, I would say 15 minutes.
15, yes?
Yeah, 10-15 minutes.
Okay, we can give 10 and then check on the groups how they are doing. Okay, create breakout rooms. Jowita, would you like to go also to some room to listen to the students?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that would be great.
And then I will maybe move you from...
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, I'll try. Oh, is Maria you the last one? Oh, good.
It could be anything really. For example,
no, but it's what would be your reason, your particular reason? Why would you want to use social media, Ami?
The reason why I would like to use social media is so that I can see which particular field has best job opportunities.
Okay.
So in what kind of field, like medical field or business field.
Okay.
And I could look for, let's say, Japanese website, and for the same time English, British-based social media, and see the difference of what each would say has best type of job field has more effect right now. For example, currently in Japan, there are more job opportunities for public service interpreting.
Okay, but what are you passionate about? What would make you happy?
Make me happy.
Yeah, which industry you would like to, to interpret it for?
I would say I'm more interested in arts and culture.
Okay.
So movie industry.
Okay.
And I've also experienced working for a Japanese chemical industry. So I can also specialize on that field as well. Like,
well, but yes, that's what would you like you'd like to specialize in, perhaps. But you said that perhaps art and cinema.
Yes, it would be nice.
More happy.
Yeah.
So you need to think about which industry you'd like to go for. The one
Yeah.
that makes you more happy, or the one that gives you perhaps more money?
Yes. That's
Okay.
yeah.
So you need to be very clear in your approach to social media. Otherwise, you will spend
Yes.
a lot of time and perhaps you waste it all.
Yes.
So you need to think about, perhaps do like a comparison, pros and cons for
Yeah.
for working in the art and film industry,
Yeah.
and pros and cons of working for, the perhaps chemical industry.
Yeah.
Look, do some. So basically, you would like to use social media to do research, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's fine. And who else is in the room? So thank you, Amy.
Elena.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, in my case, I like using social media to connect with people and also to connect with the world in general. For example, I would use Twitter to be up to date and to know what's going on. And it's easy to find news or articles or events in relation, for example, to interpreting, because I can use hashtags. So I think it's very useful. And
Okay, but Elena, this connecting to the world and to people, how does it, why you want to do it, to help you with what, finding pieces of work to interpret, or what is it for, this connecting to the world?
well, I think that as converse interpreters, it is important to know what's going on around you.
Okay, yes.
And
But
maybe,
how does it help you to find a job, or how does it help you to find perhaps clients to interpret?
well, to find a job, for example, I found some people on Twitter or Facebook. For example, I'm in a Facebook group
Yeah.
for interpreters and translations, and so many people uh, post job offers, and so I think that's a way of maybe to start doing something.
Okay, but then connecting to the whole world, it's spreading yourself too thinly, because it's not possible for you to go through every single job opportunity around the world that it's out there. So you need to be more focused about, what type of job you would like to get, perhaps in what industry you would like to get it, and then start connecting with the relevant people.
Yes, for example, I'm interested in working in international institutions such as the United Nations or the European Union. So on Twitter,
Okay.
yes, so on Twitter, for example, I started following accounts of people who work already for the European Commission, who work on that field. So in that way, I can know a little bit what's going on, and maybe
Absolutely.
yes, and take that maybe as a reference point, and then
Absolutely.
yes, and know maybe where I can start from, or maybe learn from what they post, and from that think of how I can introduce myself into that world.
Of course, that's great. So that's much better than connecting to the whole world.
Yes.
Yeah.
More precise, yes.
Absolutely. That's a good starting point. So if you can, you Elena and you Amy, if you can write it down, what you've said, what we've discussed, because that's gonna be the reference point for the next slides and for the next part of our workshop webinar moving forward. So write it down, Elena, that you want to, perhaps find a job within international government institutions like European Union, etc.
Yes.
And you, Amy, if you write down that, you are in between art and film and perhaps chemical companies that you would like to do translation for. But you need to do perhaps a little bit more thinking, Amy, and analyzing why would you want to go for art and film, or perhaps why would you go for the chemical industry. Okay, perhaps money is important for you, or perhaps other information. It's not okay. It's okay to go where money is. It's nothing wrong. So you need to think about it. Okay.
Okay.
It's not for today, but this is something you need to think perhaps and do more research, etc., etc. Okay.
Okay.
Jowita, do you want me to move you somewhere
Yeah,
else?
it would be great. Yeah, let's see who else is doing what.
So please go back to the main room.
Okay, shall we write this down on the chat?
Oh, you can write in the chat. Can we ask maybe Jowita, when we are back to the main room, people can write it on the chat. Then
Yeah,
we've got
absolutely. Yeah.
some interesting points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move you, Jowita, to another group.
Cool.
Where are you? Move to breakout room 1. Okay. I think Elena went back to the main room.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can do as well if you want.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so I did put you back in the main room, Jowita. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
I wanted to put you. No, you had to join. You didn't join the breakout room 1. So, did any notification?
No, I haven't seen anything. The first time I've seen.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to move you maybe to room number 4. Okay.
Okay.
And you should get a notification inviting you. It may be under the presentation.
Okay, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't see anything yet.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, I can see. Join a meeting.
Yeah. How much more time do you want for this?
Probably five more minutes, and that's it.
Okay, 5 more minutes. You need to join, Jowita.
Let me see.
If the notification popped on your screen, you need to click on it.
Yeah, but I can't see it now. Before it was okay, but that would be because I'm in the main room, right?
You are now in the main room, yes.
Yeah.
But in that case, let me send you another invitation, okay?
Okay, let's see.
And now please accept it.
Okay.
And you should be moved. It says you haven't joined. So you need to click.
Well, there is nothing to click here.
And can you see maybe under, like if you're working on the
Mac,
Mac,
I know what you mean.
Sometimes under your screen something pops up. It happened to me yesterday.
Stop video now.
Like
I know what you mean, but I can't see it.
Yeah, that's fine, not to worry. If not, I'm going to kick everyone back into the main room.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we will ask them, you can ask them to write in the chat, and I can, if you're happy, I can read it out for you so that it's more interactive.
No problem.
So let me close to everyone. I will send them a message that 1 minute left, and we will close it back. We are learning this as you can see. But that's strange, you were not able to join.
I can see still join breakout room 1, but I cannot see anything else.
Okay. Well, in that case, there is no point in going when I send it now. Yeah. So I'm going to close all the rooms now, so everyone will come back, and we will ask them to put their comments in the chat.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, everyone is coming back. Let's see if we've got everyone. Not yet. Okay, I can see we've got Laura back with the microphone on. Okay. Let's see if anyone else is in the breakout room. I don't know if we can check that. Okay, I think everyone is back or is supposed to be back.
We have 10, I think.
Yeah, so we've lost 4 people.
They could still be in the room because you've got 60 seconds.
Okay.
So the countdown, I think, should be now about 10 seconds.
We struggled, Daniel. Oh, yeah, we're coming back. Daniel struggled with sending Jowita to other rooms. So she went to one room and then she couldn't move, but that's fine. we came up with an idea that whatever you discuss, whatever your reason was, and why was that reason and not the other, if you could write it down in a chat, and I will read it out to Jowita, and knowing Jowita, she's going to challenge you because she always ask all those uncomfortable questions that we don't want to hear, but they are very useful when defining your why, and your why is very important. So if you can write down in the chat, what is your why? What is the reason for the use of social media, and why is that reason the most important? If I understood it correctly.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. But very concise answers. No writing.
Not overwordy. Yeah.
Just few words. Okay. I can see the chat as well.
Oh, fantastic. So if you're happy to read it out for yourself,
yeah.
I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going
to... Okay. From Amin, LinkedIn for visibility. What do you mean visibility?
I mean that when we visit some profiles of interpreters, confirmed interpreters who are known, etc., and we add comments and we have discussions, maybe someone who, because interpreters hire amongst themselves with colleagues.
Okay.
So that can give you some visibility to be hired later for an assignment or something.
Okay, but this visibility, just to be there, be visible, do you think that it will start bringing you contacts and bringing you inquiries?
It depends on the quality of the visibility. So if you have to add something that has some value.
Okay, so it's more brand awareness rather than visibility, just.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, cool. So just write it down. How to pronounce your name?
Amin.
Amin. So write it down that you want to do it for brand awareness. Okay. So then brand awareness brings you inbound inquiries coming through rather than you prospecting clients, or prospecting opportunities in a proactive way.
Yeah.
Because then there are different ways how, what sort of engagement you need to do, etc., etc. Okay, so visibility for Amin. From okay, who else I can see? From Laura, be up to date with what's happening around the world. Okay, why? How it helps you, Laura? How would it help you to find a job or to find clients?
No, I just wrote the main reason for me why I use social media.
No, but why would you want to use moving forward when you finish your degree, etc.? Do you have enough money to live on as you do now, or you need to find a job, or you need to find clients?
Yeah, of course I will use other social media when I will be looking for a job, because now I use mainly Instagram or Facebook, but I think that if we want to look for a job, we need to move on Twitter, or even better LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. So perhaps I didn't ask you the question properly. It's why would you want to use social media after you finish your degree? What is it for? More for the more commercial use rather than just social use.
Okay, yeah. So also to not only to get a job, but also to create a networking with other interpreters or other people who are interested in what I'm doing.
Okay, that's fine. So you need to think about what sort of industry you would like to connect or find a job in.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's important. Otherwise, you're spreading again yourself too thinly. We've discussed this with Ami and Eleanor, I think. Before I don't remember all your names. So Laura, just think about, right? It's about finding a job and connecting perhaps to your colleagues and other interpreters within the industry. But also think about the geographical location, whether you want to connect with them just here in the UK or perhaps in other countries, etc. That's important as well. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Huling, Contact people more convenient, build connections with people in the same sector. What is it for? To find a job or to find new clients?
I think they can be both, because I've built connections on LinkedIn with the Chinese interpreters, and I have also found one people who's owning his own translation agency, and I think this can be a potential opportunity for me to find their job.
Okay, so you would like to find a new job, and also, so similarly as Laura, to find a job and then hopefully find some other opportunities for interpreting, right?
Yes.
But you need to think about the industry you would like to work in or for, or if it's a job, in what industry, and if it's clients, from what sort of industry you'd like to find clients, and also geographical location as well. So think about it, because then it will inform your other steps and other activities on social media. Okay. We spoke with Luca, right? Luca. LinkedIn in order to start networking with fellow colleagues who possibly provide me with a job offers. That's good. That's quite focused, but you need to think about, Luca, you need to think about which sector.
All right.
Okay. What sort of industry would be good for you? That's a good answer. Pretty good. But you need to narrow this down to perhaps geographical location, and not just by country, but by a city.
All right.
And also within what sort of industry you would like to work with or at. Is it because the money is most important for you, or perhaps your satisfaction from just like it was with Ami, for her art and film, it's the interest, and she would love to do interpreting for this industry, but she also considers chemical. So you need to think about which industry would be best for you, for what sort of reasons. Okay.
Right. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who else? Magdalena. Keep up to date with the industry news. Magdalena, how does it help you to find a job or to find clients?
I mean, I've been following the industry news, namely on public service interpreting, for the last few years. And it helped me maybe not to get new jobs, but at least to stay up to date with what agencies there are, which are good agencies, which are bad agencies to work for, what are current rates in public service interpreting. It was useful, and still following.
All right, cool. So if you want to go for agencies, then think about it. Which one out of this research you've done so far, which one would be the best to connect with, and to find, to get a job, to get a contract, because then the next steps we will take, I will take you through the slides, will inform what you need to do in order to find which platform to use, etc. Okay. Laviana, sorry, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Lavinia, sorry, Lavinia. Lavinia.
Yes.
Keep updated with the news and events. Oh my God, that's a lot to do. Keep in touch with people around you. So tell me, perhaps because I didn't articulate my question properly, how does it help you? Are you trying to find a new job, or are you trying to be a freelancer? What are you trying to do when you finish your degree?
To be honest, I haven't decided yet. Yeah, I thought obviously the original question was what's the main reason for you to use social media, and I just thought about the social networks that I use, and I just came up with that.
That's more on the social level, etc. But I'm talking about more commercial, to prepare you to what's gonna happen after university, after you finish your degree. So what would be the most important reason for you?
Of course, LinkedIn to be noticed, obviously, by people who work in the same field as you. I remember, I don't know whether it was Danielle or someone else that said that the more you share, the more you comment on other people's posts, and the more you get visible. That way, people are gonna start noticing you. But I haven't been using LinkedIn for a long time now, so I still need to.
But I'm not sure whether LinkedIn would be the best for you. We are talking about social media in general, so I think you need to be more precise and perhaps do some thinking, whether you are trying to find a job or whether you are trying to be, you know, a freelancer, etc., etc. And then once you know which of this direction is you want to go for, then you need to think about the industry you'd like to work for or get clients from. Because the next stage is actually, which I will take you through the slides, you will see that the rest will follow out of this idea that comes in your head now. So whether you're trying to find a job or you're trying to go straight deep on a deep water and start finding clients for yourself. So think about it, okay?
I think, Jowita, if I may just interrupt, I think some of our students, when they graduate, they may have some part-time jobs, maybe in an interpreting agency, and then obviously look for some freelance assignments as conference interpreters, because the beginnings are always quite difficult for our profession. So I think it's quite difficult at this stage for the students to know exactly. But it's good that you're triggering their interest and different ideas.
Cool. Okay, so let's go back to have I went through everyone? Have I gone through everyone? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so let me go back to the slides. So we were talking about your reason for using social media. So now I will take you through 4 stages of a proven process for social media results. So that's why it is important for you to know your reason why you want to use social media. Okay, that's why I ask you as a little exercise to think about it, to challenge yourself with those quite simple but difficult questions. So a proven process for social media results. So first of all, it is a strategy. So a strategy is this reason why you want to use social media. The next one is integration. And I'm talking here in general about social media. I'm not talking about LinkedIn specifically, because I'm not sure whether LinkedIn is good for what you are trying to achieve. So that's why knowing what you are trying to achieve and who is your client perhaps, or who is the agency you want to connect with, or who is, you know, the company or the companies, type of companies you would like to find a job at, that's important for your strategy. And then it's important to find them on specific social media platform, etc. So strategy, then integration, then you need to start engaging on social media on the platform that is important to you, and it's crucial for you to use this platform to get to where you want to be, whether it's finding a job, finding part-time assignments, or whatever. And then support, it's more about actually planning your activity on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, what you need to be doing to stay on track, stay focused, and start getting the results through social media. And social media in general, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever else. So let's have a closer look in how to build a successful social media strategy and what we need to consider here. So what are your objectives? I asked you already. It's the reason why you want to use social media. So most of you have answered, you know, and I help you to kind of perhaps narrow it down and be more specific. But you need to think about, obviously, if you want to find a job, it's not just obviously targeting just one company, but you need to target quite a few companies, start talking to them in order to get perhaps 2-3 interviews, and out of it eventually find a job. Because it's not like you will go to one company and they hire you straight away, unless you are very lucky. So you need to keep trying and finding quite a few of them in order to get them some interviews and eventually get a job. And similar with assignments and contracts, small projects. It's not that you will be successful every single time you approach someone, but you need to think about how many people or how many organizations you can get out of, for example, 10 that you approach. So you need to be very specific and actually articulate it in numbers. So main reason for using social media, that's what we've discussed. And who is your target audience, in a way we have discussed as well, because I ask you for your main reason, whether it's finding a job, whether it's staying connected, and if it's about staying connected, why you want to stay connected, etc., etc. But then I was asking you why you want to be connected, for example, to the whole world. And then eventually we were through some questions, we were narrowing down that some of you are interested in specific industries or specific type of work, and that's your target audience. So for some it's the government organizations, for some of them it's perhaps art and film, for others perhaps other things. So you need to think who is your target audience, the type of companies you'd like to work with or work at as getting a job, or perhaps the agencies within specific industries, etc., etc. So that's your target audience. And once you know your target audience, then you need to do your online research. So don't assume that those specific companies or specific agencies will be on LinkedIn, or that those specific companies or whoever else, people you want to connect with, will be on Twitter. You need to go through all of those platforms and see where most of your target audience is hanging out. And then choose the platform where most of your target audience is using. So for some of you, perhaps it will be LinkedIn. For some of you, perhaps it will be Twitter. Or for some of you, maybe it's going to be Facebook. So that's the way, and that's the sequence of approaching social media in general. And then that's where it comes up with which platform to use and which one is best for what you are trying to achieve. And then translate your objectives. So if you want to find a job, then think about how many you should perhaps approach, how many companies to approach, which I've mentioned already, in order to get X number of meetings, interviews, and then this will translate into finally getting a job, or with contract specific projects in a similar way. So usually it's around 20%. Eva, what would you say in terms of your conversion rate and you getting a project?
It depends. It's quite a long process, to be fair. For me, I use LinkedIn for my conference interpreting work, and I connect with colleagues, other interpreters, and I think some of the students mentioned that our colleagues are actually our employers as well, and I do get recommendations from them. And also for people potentially looking for interpreters, so the client that is not an interpreter. But for instance, for my certified translations, I use Facebook because people are looking for certified translator on Facebook. So I've never done a proper ratio, and I think this will be one of the things I will do now, using a little bit of more spare time to do a conversion rate. I've noticed that it does take a while, and what you mentioned before, this building relations takes a while, and not necessarily everybody will need straight away a Polish interpreter, but what I'm trying to do is make sure that they know I exist. So if they've got that need, they know how to find me. So, but that will be one of my things to do for the next few months to measure that actually. So thanks for that, Jowita.
Yes, but I just want to make you aware that it's not about targeting one company or two. You need to target at least 10, 15, 20. It needs to be obviously manageable for you when you finish your university, or perhaps while you still are at university, you can start doing specific things and start building those relationships. So when you finish it, you are much more advanced in terms of having those relationship already in place. So don't think that it's too early to start doing social media for your commercial type of activity. No, not at all. You need to start much earlier.
Just to tell you, Jowita, Daniel mentioned to you that module we've got in the morning today, the interpreter's professional environment. Actually, students, as one of the homework, they have to set up the LinkedIn profile if they don't have it yet. And as a homework, I think Danielle is asking them to post something. So they've been already quite active, some of you.
Fantastic, very good.
LinkedIn, so it's quite a good practice.
Absolutely, it is. And okay, so let's go back to what else to consider to get your strategy, successful strategy. Actually, I think that's it. Those two other points are actually more for a business, bigger business where there's few people, but I just want you to have a holistic approach to it. So, you know, when you start working for a bigger company, perhaps you can advise them a little bit about social media. So it's a number of employees. If there are more businesses, people involved, is the number of people who can help you to create whatever you are trying to create on social media, and different roles. So if you're in a bigger group, everybody should have, each of the person should have a specific role to play on social media. So think about it as well, perhaps in the future. So the importance of integration stage. And what is integration stage? So once you have the strategy in place, you roughly know who you are targeting, whether it's for looking for a job, finding a job, or a client, or through agency or whatever. The integration stage is important. So within the strategy, you've done your research online, you know which platform to use, etc. And for example, as a part of a project, you need to have your LinkedIn profile in place. Integration stage is important because it will help you to start engaging in a right way on social media. So it is very important, and I will tell you why. Because you should optimize your social media profiles properly before you start engaging in an activity. To reflect your social media strategy, so if you're looking for a job, perhaps you should mention somewhere in your profile that you are still a student, but you will be available for a job from X, from that month or year or whatever. To reflect your personal brand, don't make it dry, don't make it just business related. It's social media, so the clue is in the name, it's social. So make sure there is some personality, your personality, that is visible through your profile as well. And obviously when your profile is done, completely done, properly done, then it builds trust. Make sure that you have on LinkedIn, if you are already active on LinkedIn, etc. As a part of your project, make sure that you have a proper picture, not taken from Facebook or from a selfie, but it's a professional headshot, very approachable headshot. Like Eva has a fantastic picture. It's a very approachable headshot, and when you look at her picture, you want to talk to her. Some people have picture from talking at big conferences with the little microphone. I don't think it's a good idea. And also, Eva, I think you can send this. Remember this link to this fantastic post on LinkedIn about what pictures not to use on LinkedIn. So I think you will.
I will do that. Actually, I'm planning a session with students on LinkedIn in a few weeks. So I'm going to do
brilliant
to cover it, but I will send it to you anyway, so you can laugh.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. So build trust. If if a house is not finished completely, you feel like, oh, maybe it's a dodgy place to move in. So the same is with your profile. If it's not done properly and it doesn't reflect what you are trying to achieve, it's not gonna attract many people. So make sure that it's done properly, that they are not, it's grammatically correct, and it's very clear and concise message. And obviously, the better your profile is done and optimized, then it's much easier to find you, or other people will have a much easier job to find you on those platforms through search and keywords, perhaps hashtags, etc., etc. So think about it all. But the keywords you are using, etc., this should reflect your strategy, whether you're looking for a job, trying to find clients, in what industries, etc., etc. So why is integration stage important? It's also organizing your internet browsers and your mobile phones in order to access those specific social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, or others with few clicks of a button. So Eva, do you remember I've done it when we were doing this at Leeds University. So perhaps, I can send you some slides, and when you're doing this for LinkedIn, you can show how to organize the browser, because I don't think we have time today to go through those details.
No problem, I'll pass it on.
Sure. And when you organize your internet browsers, you can access relevant websites, platforms, your social media platforms, and other information with a few, I should say, one click of a button. Sometimes you go through, you're doing your research, you find an amazing article, but you have no time to do anything with this link, and suddenly next day you're looking for this article and you cannot find it. So there is a way to organize your internet browsers and to make sure that you always collect the data and put them in the right folders on your browsers. And you can do it also on your phone as well. And what it does, it significantly reduce the time you spend on managing your social media activity, up to 90% time reduction. So it's huge. And obviously to help you work smart rather than hard. So what I've mentioned with this article, that sometimes I find one day and then I cannot find it the next day, and I'm spending hours trying to find it back. And it miraculously disappears. That's what working smart, not hard, is about. So make sure you organize your browsers properly, but Eva will guide you through how to do it. So after having strategy done, after doing your profile that reflects your strategy, now you are ready to start engaging with people online. So meaningful engagement versus your business objectives. So remember, you can do one of you said that you would like to start building brand awareness, so people can start contacting you rather than you contacting them proactively. So if you are trying to build your brand, it's a slightly different approach in terms of your activities on social media than if you are trying to proactively look for people and find opportunities. So what you need to consider? You need to consider the content purpose that best supports your business objectives. So whether it's brand awareness, whether it's looking for a job, whether it's trying to find new clients, whether it's connecting to agencies, you need to think about what's the purpose of the content. Is it to entertain? Is it to inspire? Is it to educate? Is it to have conversations? Or perhaps to connect? Or to promote yourself and your services? So which one it is? But this needs to be relevant to the question which I asked you at the beginning. Why you want to use social media? What's your reason? So think about it. I don't think it's entertaining. I don't think it's about inspiring for now, but it's more about educating for you, having conversation, connect and promote. to get to where you want to be. So think about this purpose. What content purpose you want to, you need to adapt and start using in order to fulfill your why, your reason why you are using social media. So the type of content that is relevant to the purpose. So for example, if you want to educate your clients, your colleagues, what you're doing, the agency you want to connect with, if you want to educate them, then think about blogs. So that's the type of content. Blogs to educate, hints and tips to educate about what you do or what's happening in your industry or how you can help clients. Industry trends, so statistics and stuff like this. Case studies, different guides, how to, for example, find a good interpreter, or guides how to have a good, quality service within what you are doing, etc. But also please remember, when you start engaging with people online, about the code of ethics as an interpreter. You are bound by lots of, obviously confidentiality of the information. And also if you work through agency, if you work, for example, for Netflix, but through agency, don't start sending, posting images that you work for Netflix, because your client is the agency. So think about the code of ethics before you post. Pause for a moment and think whether you are allowed to post something and mention the people's names or mention, the company names, etc. Think about it, because you can do much more damage to yourself than good. But I think Eva knows the rules much more than I do. I'm just making you aware of it. So, if the purpose for you is to connect, then you will use different type of content as well. If your purpose is to promote your business, then, or yourself, then you will use slightly different type of content, perhaps infographic, perhaps whatever you think. And also in terms of education, but that's not good for you. Calculators are really good, for example, for accountancy firms. So think about it and plan what type of content you should be using for whatever you're trying to achieve. And the most important now, so once you think about obviously the purpose of your content, whether it's to educate, to connect, to promote, or maybe it's a mixture of things, then think about what type of content you will be using, and then how you will be active on social media. So the type of activities that you can do on social media, it's obviously posting your own posts. You can do some liking, sharing or retweeting, commenting, quoting, and direct messaging. But those are all the different activities you can do on social media. But the most important ones, and meaningful ones, which one you think they are? Maybe a question to you now. Which one you think are the most important, that have a biggest impact on the results you can get? Which one are the most important activities on social media out of those that you can see on the screen?
Well, I personally think it's posting your own post and direct messaging.
Okay. Who else? Thanks, Amin.
I think also commenting might be useful.
Okay. Who else?
I think liking, because it's very easy to do.
Okay. But which one would you think has the most impact on social media? It's not which one is useful. All of them are useful. That's why they are on social media. But which one has the most impact? Come on.
Retweeting, because then you're more visible not only to the person you retweet, but to those who are connected to the person.
Okay, who else? One more. Come on,
Quoting.
Don't be shy.
Quoting.
Okay, no, well, the most important one, it's commenting. Sorry, not important. The most, the one that actually brings the most impact, it's commenting.
Powerful. The most powerful.
It's most powerful, yes. The most powerful is commenting. And I will tell you why. Because it's about social media, being social. Imagine you go to meet your friends and you just talk without listening to what's happening. How weird would it be? You comment, you listen to what's happening around you, and then you start commenting, and that's where you can bring the most value, and that's what's the most powerful. Of course, the rest is important as well. It's about posting your own post, it's about liking, sharing, but there needs to be the right proportion of all of those. And actually, if you are trying to get a job or whatever, it's more about engaging with people, and engaging is about commenting to what they are saying. But I'm not saying that you should stop liking or stop sharing or retweeting or quoting or posting your own post. It's not about that. It's a mixture of all of those, but with a good percentage of commenting, okay, or replying, because they are the same features, the same functions are on every single platform, but they are just slightly differently worded. On some it's sharing, on some it's retweeting, on some it's commenting, on some it's replying. So remember, commenting is the most powerful one to start building relationship. So what is social media currency? So it's actually about the nature of social media. Well, as the name says, it's social, but it needs to be authentic. So if you say to a colleague, you know what, I will give you my password, can you do some commenting on my behalf? I wouldn't suggest you do it. This is totally wrong. Social media, it's about authenticity and honesty. So it needs to be you who is doing your own social media. So don't outsource it in a way to someone else, because you will never achieve anything. It's your personality that needs to come through on social media as well. So that's why it is important. So social media, it needs to be authentic, honest. So don't lie on social media, because it will come out very quickly. People, if you say, oh, I'm ill today, and someone posts a picture of you being on a conference, it can spread very quickly. So be aware of this. Transparency, be very transparent. How you about the job you're doing. If you can say anything about the job, be transparent in terms of if you make a mistake, own it, which will be talked about in a moment. Remember to be human and be social on social media. So don't pretend and don't actually adapt this corporate approach and corporate talk. Remember to be human. Just use your own words, what you're comfortable with, etc., and be human as well. So some jokes sometimes that doesn't offend anyone. It's a great approach on social media as well. Remember to own your own mistakes. So if you make a mistake, say it and make amends to make it better. And remember about social selling rather than direct selling, because I've mentioned this before. Direct selling, it's not social media nature, and it's not in our nature anymore to get to have pushy sales. Nobody likes it. So it's all about building relationship with people. And don't ignore your audience. What I mean by this, it's very often you receive, for example, a message, direct messaging on social media, and people look at it and then for example they don't reply for 2-3 days, that's not the right way to do it on social media. Remember it. People want you to be accessible pretty much all the time. So if you had time to look at your direct messaging, you should reply pretty much, you know, within minutes rather than hours or days. Can you imagine how weird would it be if someone walks to your room or to a meeting, ask you a question, you look at them and then basically ignore them completely for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. It would be so weird. So don't do it on social media. And remember about engagement rather than broadcasting. And one of you said that perhaps direct messaging and posting your own post would be the most powerful. Not necessarily. It's the engagement, the commenting is the most important. That's how you build relationship. So what is broadcasting? Broadcasting is posting your own posts. That's important as well, but not the most powerful. So just to summarize, and I think we are we'll have 10 minutes to you know, for any questions you have, etc. To summarize what we've discussed and what are the best practices, just to put things perhaps in place in your heads. Social media is the most powerful and most popular technology around the world, which obviously we kind of prove through the statistics. But also to mention to you, it took 38 years for radio to achieve to reach 50 million users, 13 years for a television to have 50 million users, and it took Twitter 9 months to have 50 million users. So that's how powerful social media is. So remember, and it's free of charge in a way as well. You don't have to pay, you don't have to subscribe for it on a monthly basis and pay for it to be able to use it. Well, except LinkedIn if you want to have extra functions. Remember to narrow your focus. So the reason why you are using social media, remember to be very narrow rather than very wide. The more narrow you are, the better results you will get in terms of finding a job, contract, or perhaps build relationship with the right people. Remember to know your audience, who they are, from what sort of industry, what geographical location, and you can be very specific in terms of, you know, the country, or even the specific city or a town. And then remember to start using to do online research and start using analytics, feedback, etc., etc. What's happening on social media? Remember that the social media currency, which we talked about, which is the being authentic, honest, owning your own mistakes, be human, be social, etc., and respect it. Try to implement it in your daily activities. And that's what's the most important. Be active on social media on a regular basis. But I'm talking about this, not using this for social use on a social basis, but more on a commercial basis. Once, you know, if you want to try to find a job or a client or whatever, it is important for you to use it on a regular basis. So 10 minutes every day, it's much better than 1 hour in one day. That's how social media is designed. And there are different algorithms that will go through and troll your profile and see how active you are. So the more regular you are on social media, even if it's 5-10 minutes, the better for you. And remember to constantly improve your profile. I'm not saying every day, but if, for example, your strategy is changing, then obviously make sure that your profile is changing to reflect it, and adapt your approach to what's happening around you, which is about obviously listening to what's happening around you and responding to it. So, do you have any questions? I'm sure there are a few. I've heard that someone is thinking about writing a dissertation about social media in interpreting. So come on, the floor is yours. I'm open to any questions you have.
Thank you, Jowita. Thank you very much for that. I think Danielle had to take some phone call, but she asked me to thank you for your time and for the presentation. And let's see the questions we may have. As I said, students have this profile, this module on the interpreter's professional environment. So they've been doing something on social media. So let's see, do we have any questions? So we've got this excellent expert with us. Let's seize that opportunity and ask her any burning questions. I do have one, but I would like to give the opportunity for students actually. Don't be shy.
Come on.
Or maybe everyone is already an expert and we know everything. Oh, somebody is saying something. You can also type your question if you want, if you prefer, if you don't want to speak. So whilst we are waiting for any brave volunteer to ask a question, recently we had a talk with one of the ladies who is a project manager in one of the interpreting agencies. Okay, I work with that agency and they are very good. And she actually told us that on the LinkedIn, what we should have as a title, you know, that space that we've got, we can write who we are. That we should write that we are a conference interpreter for these languages, which are our languages. She told us that this is the crucial thing, and because that's how they are finding us on LinkedIn. If they are looking for, I don't know, Lithuanian interpreter or Italian interpreter, that's what they will put, you know, in this algorithm, and that's how LinkedIn will find us. And before, I was under the impression that you should have a very catchy title, you know, like, I don't know, bridging communication gap or helping you with this. And that's what I used to have. But I don't know, what is your opinion, Jowita? Is it about having a catchy title or actually something that we will be found by?
It's well, I think there are lots of different ways now on LinkedIn for anyone who is looking for your services to find you. And it's not just by I'm sure they need to type some keywords in keywords, or now hashtags. Hashtags are very popular, getting popular on LinkedIn. So it's not necessarily in the title that you need to have, you know, this technical strapline. It's also about the hashtags you are using. So that's why the whole strategy comes to place. I think, you know, if in your summary, if you put what languages, etc., you are covering, perhaps, but also start using specific hashtags, because hashtags are playing more significant role on LinkedIn, and that's how people start finding not necessarily your profile, but by the content you are sharing or posting or commenting on. If you start using specific hashtags that are relevant to what you do, people start finding you through content as well, not necessarily just directly through your profile. So I would just leave, you know, very catchy phrase under your name, and then use specific hashtags and keywords within your profile, in your summary, in your experience, that will help you to find you on LinkedIn. It's not just the strapline that goes into algorithm at all. It's how often you are on LinkedIn, you're commenting, you're sharing, and everything else that plays a role. And obviously the hashtags you are using as well.
Thank you, Jowita. Do you have any questions? I know students have been learning online all day, so everybody had a very long day.
Come on, maybe one question. Come on,
let's try. Fine, but you know, this is an excellent opportunity. So Laura, do you want to use it to inform your research? We can't hear you, Laura. You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry. I prepared some questions, but maybe no, they are not very useful. Also because she has already answered to them.
Really good.
Which one was it?
No, I just wanted to ask how important is for you the networking amongst all the interpreters?
For me?
Not for you in your case, like in your job, but what you think about that.
Oh, I think it's hugely important. It's, as you can see, what happened with the coronavirus this time. Now we are pretty much in a way forced to start using online platforms, meeting rooms like this, Zoom. So imagine if we didn't have social media and those platforms to connect with people and your colleagues, for example, who are important for whatever reasons to connect with them, you wouldn't be able to do it. So basically, you would have to hibernate yourself for 4 or 5 months until this coronavirus is gone, and the whole country comes back to a normal life. So it is hugely important to start connecting with people, or keep connecting with them, and with your colleagues, interpreters, because each industry works slightly different. And I know from working with Eva for a while now that you do get projects from your own colleagues within your profession. So they are not in a way your competitors, but they are colleagues who can give you pieces of work. So it is hugely important for you to start connecting with people within your profession as well, online.
Yeah, thank you. And if I can just compliment that, if you, Laura, asked me that question, I don't know, 5 months ago, I would say that I really like mixing or having that hybrid approach to actually networking in person and networking online. I think those two work very well. In the past, before I went for a networking event, I would connect with them on LinkedIn, then I would know how they look, or I would send them a message, look forward to your webinar or meeting you, or I hope we will have a chance to talk. So as an example of that, I did go for a big event in Poland, and I wanted to speak to somebody who deals with the railway, because this is one of my areas of interest, any conference to do with trains. And I could never meet that person, and I sent some emails, but there was no response. And she was one of the speakers. I connected with her on LinkedIn, and actually we met in the toilet, and she was like, oh, I remember you sent me the invitation on LinkedIn. And as in the toilet, you're washing your hands, and we started conversation that continued. And the same when you meet somebody in person, it's good to do follow up on LinkedIn or other platform, but I really personally like LinkedIn for networking. However, if you ask me now, I think now it's what we have left. It's the online networking, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah, go on.
Would you say that nowadays interpreters receive the majorities of their job offers through social media?
Well, probably that's a better question to Eva than me, because obviously I'm not interpreter, so I don't really work within the interpreters to know it better. But more and more, just in general, a huge number of people are looking for a job or advertising a job, job vacancy through social media. So it's a huge shift for example, for recruitment agencies, or for companies, for a recruitment agency to find applicants, to find people for a job, and for companies to advertise their job vacancies. It's a huge platform.
Yeah.
And actually, LinkedIn was designed for that specific reason.
Mm-hmm. One of my biggest assignments in the last few months, Laura, came from Messenger. I mean, from a message via Messenger from one of my colleagues that I used to study with. And I remained in a contact with her. She's got different language combinations. She's Spanish A, and she remembered me, and we stayed in touch. And she gave me the whole week of work at a medical conference, and we know that medical conferences are paid very well as well. So it was via social media. I don't think majority of them, for me personally, I still think that there is a lot coming through emails, through my contacts with direct clients and agencies, but more and more jobs or inquiries, somebody sending, are you available on that and that day? So there are a lot of inquiries coming through social media, especially if something is needed quickly, for instance. Okay, I think it's 6 o'clock, and if there are no other questions, the last thing to do is to thank you very much, Jowita. We normally give away our London Med mug, which I've got for you at London. So the next time I see you, hopefully we will give you our London mug, London Med mug. We would like to thank you for your time to deliver the free webinar to us. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it and will use some of your insights when planning their strategies and integrating, engaging online. We will have a webinar just on the LinkedIn, so we will dig deeper in that on the platform. So I'm sure I will actually refer and go back to some of the things you mentioned. So let me just applaud you and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For everyone, thank you very much that you stayed until 6 p.m. Hope you all have very good evening, and we will see each other. Some of you tomorrow for tutorials, some of you on Monday for the mock conference, okay? Thank you so much. I will stop recording now. Where is